Hello everyone, I am Stefan from mywoodcutters.com, and in today's video lesson about the Clean Armor tips and tricks, I would like to talk today about the necessary UV or ultraviolet lightings that are necessary to cure the Clean Armor finishes. Now, as you all know, at least I hope you do, we have plenty of UV light in our natural daylight outside, and you can certainly take advantage of that. If you have to finish only like small pieces that are easily manageable, then you can apply the Clean Armor finish inside your shop. So you cannot do it outside because the product would start curing on you. So apply it in the shop, and once you're satisfied with the result, as we always say, as soon as you like what you see, you turn the lights on and you start curing it. So in this case, you would just bring it out. If it's, as I said, small enough and manageable that you can quickly pick it up, bring it out. In the daylight, even on cloudy days, it will cure in 2 minutes. So by all means, take advantage of that if that suits your needs. Now, for the rest of us that cannot do that, like for me, I have sometimes big projects like an entrance door or something like that. And my biggest problem is in the daytime I work for mywoodcutters.com and then spend my evenings here in the shop when oftentimes it's dark outside. Anyways, talking of daylight, if you have windows in your shop, you certainly need to test these, because many windows on the market these days have somewhat sufficient UV blockers or filters built in. So I would certainly recommend take a little piece of scrap wood and put a little bit of Clean Armor finish on it and leave it on your workbench where you would apply it, and I would give it here an extended time of like 30 minutes or so and see if it reacts under the influence of the daylight that comes through your window. And if it does start to cure, then you would need to do something about it, whether you're covering your windows by any means or find a different spot to apply the finish in your shop that is a little bit darker. But even there again, if there is still some influence of daylight through the window, test again. Yeah, so when I was on my search for an alternative finishing product, as I shared in my video about the Clean Armor, my introduction video to this product, this was all for my personal use only actually at first. But I came across a couple different products on the market out there that also cure with UV light in fairly short times. And these are still hard wax oils, and they didn't really satisfy me, so that's why I kept on searching until I found Clean Armor. But one of them actually that I tested intensively sold me this little UV light. And I don't want to use any names because I don't want to talk bad about any other company. They all have their place in this market. But this little light has the big advantage. It is using a rechargeable battery, so no wires, unlike ours. They all have their wires. But anyways, so this one was just a few dollars short of $1,000, believe it or not. When I turn it on, you hear a fan going on to cool the lights because they still get fairly warm. But the output here is measures like 1 inch by 1 inch. And they recommend to cure your wood at a distance of like 2 inches away. And at this distance, I measure here a square of like 3 by 3 inches. So that's like 9 square inches. Now, I did the math at my big entrance door. It would take me about 14 hours of one per side to cure it all if I want to give each single section 2 minutes of curing time. So that doesn't work for me. So then when I started working with Clean Armor, I was just still doing some research. I was aware they also offer these CUFO lights that I have here above me and the handheld devices. And they're still a little pricey. Nothing in comparison to this now. If I want to talk about prices, the light bar above me measures like 4 feet, and I get to the details in a little bit. but it sells for like $399. This 18-inch handheld device for $299, and they also have a 12-inch handheld device for $249. So, however, I was just first thinking, oh, my little private use here, I don't use it every single day, and so on and so forth. Let's see if I can save a little more. And I found on other marketplaces like Amazon a set of 3 lights, just like this, 3 in a box, for just $100. And I thought, wow, I need to give it a try. So I ordered them, and they are definitely in the correct wavelength, because ultraviolet lights comes in different wavelengths, and we need to be here in about 285 nanometers, and yeah, so that's what this does. So it's also actually the safe light spectrum that doesn't hurt our eyes and so on. I can also turn this on for you so you can see how they work. Yeah, so that started working for me at first fairly well, until I came across my first problem. And I need to pick up the camera to show you up a little closer. I started seeing things like this. So this is one of my first test pieces, and it looks like a fingerprint, but it is simply a wrinkle. Wrinkles appear when you're curing simply too fast for the material that you applied. And the problem with these lights is that they come out of a super high mass production, and all the individual LEDs that are built in here are not tested for intensity. So they might all differ from each other, where the Kufo lights actually, they're all tested and checked that they all have the same intensity. So that is a part of the problem, that one light might be stronger than another at a certain distance. Then you get things like this. By the way, I don't want to get into too much details about the finishing procedure in itself, but that can also happen if you apply your material too thick. You should always apply Clean Armor products at about 1 mil thickness. Now, the Kufo lights above me here, model 100, I need to pick up the camera again because I want to show you a feature that they have. They have this little dial here, and you can simply set the intensity of the light there. I have mine usually sitting between 50-60% or so, because that simply depends on the distance that you choose. Now, I have my light at a space of about 4.5 feet above my workplace. So that's why I took the intensity of the light down a little bit. You can go as far as 8 feet away with these lights, preferably like 6 feet. I would try not to go further than 6 feet. And even at 6 feet, you can, with this light, by the way, achieve a curing area of at least 6-7 feet long by 4 to 5 feet wide easily. So I have 2 of them, one over here as well. And yeah, and as you can also see, I just got my hands onto some boom arms and mounted them here, because this is still a workshop where I not only finish but have to do other things as well. So I can simply flip these up there and have them completely out of the way. So yeah, get creative on that. Works really well for me, because when I have big sheets of plywood that I need then to turn around or something like that, you need some headroom. Yeah, another problem is when you're working with ultraviolet cured finishes, is the actual light itself. So as I said before, if you want to, for example, take advantage of the outside light, you can finish in here, and then when done, you bring it outside. But the same applies here. You cannot work at all, under no circumstances, under the lights. Now, these lights come actually with a normal plug-in. You can plug them in, and then you can use this dial that I showed that acts at the same time as on-off switch. So that's what I did to begin with, and then I found myself spraying my wood here and turned the lights on and then checked, and it was cured And I grab the spray gun for my next coat and start spraying, and I'm like, oh my god, the lights are still on. And so that's a big no-no. So that finish didn't work out well. Not only that, you can really mess up your spray gun, and that then involves a lot of cleaning and so on. So that is something that needs to be avoided at all times. And I found the best solution, and one more time I have to pick you up with my camera here. I found the best solution in a timer. Now if you go online and Google light timer or something like that, you find a gazillion different options, but most of them are simply programmable timers where you can set up a certain time of day when the lights come on and then turn off again. But to find a timer that you can turn on demand and set for a specific time are fairly rare. So I found these ones. These are available in several different versions. Now, as you see, mine goes to a maximum of 15 minutes, and that seems to be the only one that works here, because I want to be able to set up a timing of like 2 minutes. So they all, as I said, they are offered like with 30 minutes maximum, 60 minutes maximum, and there might be even more. But they all have at the same spot about here where it says turn past. So it does not work if you go to here or so, right? Because it's simply mechanical. And the 2 minute mark here is right here, right? So that's where I can go with this one. If you have the 60-minute timer, for example, then this mark here that you have to go turn past is already sitting at a 5-minute mark. So you cannot set up 2 minutes. So that's the biggest problem. So if you find a timer like this, pay attention that you can set up 2 minutes. In this mechanical timer version works very well for me, but only with the option to a maximum of 15 minutes. Okay, so now you know that. What else did I want to share? Yes, if you have watched any of my videos under the category Clean Armor How To, where I actually spray some of these pieces with the Clean Armor products, you occasionally see a lot of overspray coming up. And that is simply natural, but when you're spraying, you always have overspray. But the amazing part with Clean Armor is it's 100% solids, so that there is no solvents built in. So nothing goes up, everything actually goes down in the end. So, and the best is simply once you turn your lights on to cure your piece that you have on the workbench, then everything that still floats around in the air also cures and simply drops down as fine dust. And that is extremely helpful because within a few minutes the air in here is completely breathable again and you can continue working. You don't smell nothing. So it's absolutely amazing. So at first, when I had these 2 lights above me, or even work on smaller pieces exclusively with the handheld device, then of course I noticed I had extended times up to 10-15 minutes where I could still smell or more feel the products, let's say, because they don't have really a distinctive smell. But you feel it on your tongue, on your eyes, and so on. So when you're spraying, you certainly need to wear respirators and so on. I'll talk about that in a different video. Anyways, now I took advantage of these guys, and let me show you again by picking up the camera. So what I've done now is I used all 3 of them that came in a pack for $100 and put them in different spots in my shop, right under the ceiling like this. So, and they immensely help to cure all the stuff that is still floating in the air after you spray. So very, very helpful. But with those, I would say, if you want to follow this idea, then make sure you are staying away at least 8 feet from your work finish, from your work pieces that you're finishing, so that these lights do not take much, or at least close to none, influence on curing this product that you just finished. Yeah, so I think that covers it all. I mean, what I still need to say is, for me, it works best to have the overhead lights that I can use here on big work pieces. But even on big work pieces, then I still need most of the time my handheld device. So that you simply turn on like this, and that is then needed to cure the edges, right? Because you always need to have direct UV light to the surfaces that you finished. So even on a workpiece like as small as this or so, if you spray the edges along, you need to cure these. So the lights overhead will not take care much of that. So that's where you need to go around by hand and cure it. Yeah, I hope that covers it all, and or at least most of it. If you have any additional questions, certainly reach out. We're here to help, and I thank you for watching. Hope you learned something, and hope to see you again. Bye.